What's up, guys? Welcome back. We got all three of us back on once again. The boys are back, and we are talking James Gunn, Superman, kickoff to the DCU. Very exciting stuff. I know we've got lots of opinions, so let's just jump in. Welcome back to the Unqualified Film Bros. Who wants to go first?
When we were setting up this episode, you said you had stuff to say, so I want to kick it back to
Oh,
you.
sure. Well, one of the things about me is that Superman is my favorite superhero. It's not just for the typical he's pretty fucking awesome reasons, but when I was growing up, I there are pictures of me in a Superman costume. Loved the character, would never take this thing off, right? And so it got to a point where I ended up sending a note, a letter, typed by my parents to Chris Reeve. And some through some connection of my dad and his work, he knew Dana, and so that's how we were able to get the letter to him. And it basically was just this message of, "Hey, Mr. Reeve, look," and again, I'm maybe four, the oldest, so I'm like this adorable little thing running around in my Superman costume, jumping off of stuff. There's pictures of me jumping off stairs coming down our basement in Seattle, and I'm like doing the flying pose and everything, jumping onto dog beds and everything. I was a reckless child sometimes.
You're a reckless adult, Max.
No, I'm not. That's not true. Anyways, so I get this letter to Dana, basically just talking about how much her husband, Chris Reeve, as Superman, has sort of inspired me. Like, I love him. I'm like, just little kid stuff, right? But Chris had obviously at that point been paraplegic. He'd been paralyzed from the neck down for who knows how many years at that point. I actually don't know. At least a good 10 or 15. His Superman career is well over. And then in 2004, thereabouts, he dies. And very sad. And I remember the day that I was told that Chris Reeve, that Superman died, and that was just devastating, devastating. And this wasn't too long after I had sent that letter to Dana. And so, very sad, but my love for the character has never gone away. But the end of the story is even sweeter. So, about a year and a half later, Dana unfortunately passes as well. And we get a letter from one of their sons. It wasn't the one that was in the movie, in Superman 2025, but we get a basically a note back because of my dad's relationship with Dana, and he tells us that until the day she died, she kept my letter to Chris on her desk by her computer. And didn't read it every day, didn't even really pay it much mind, but just kept it there and kind of close because it was the kind of relationship that she had with Chris of just admiration, adoration for him, for the work that he did in the disabled community, and for the work that he did as Superman, and most well known as Superman for making it cool to be this spunky Midwestern kid from Kansas and go and save kittens and cats and squirrels. And so I've always had this fondness and love for Superman from the age of 3 or 4. And that continues today into 2025. I think this is one of those movies that has finally, the movies at least, some of the TV shows do a pretty good job, like Smallville and Superman and Lois do a pretty solid job of the characterization. But this was the movie that really felt like Superman. It felt like we had returned back to some of the roots that made it something that I fell in love with as a child, as a kid, and now what I love as an adult. So thank you, James Gunn. Thank you, DC. Thank you, David Cornsweet and the whole team. It was really lovely. It really was. I thoroughly enjoyed this film, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys.
That's an incredible story, and you tell it really well.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, this movie, and I don't have a similar story. I mean, there are pictures of me weeks after I was born wearing a little Superman onesie. Um, when I graduated the Second City program in 2020, there's a picture of me in my backyard wearing my Con College cap and gown, but my Superman t-shirt underneath, and I'm doing the whole like pulling the gown open to show off the logo. Um, but yeah, Superman is also my favorite superhero. Always has been. I'm just enamored with the character and with all sides of Superman, Clark Kent, Kal-El, the comic lore, the up and down cinematic history. Um, but yeah, this film is absolutely tremendous. I mean, it's one of a handful that I've gone 5 stars on Letterboxd in my first viewing. And if this is the first thing James Gunn does with DC characters, or not with DC characters, but with the DCU, um, it's off to a really, really strong start. And we're about to head into some really, really good years of DC movies and content because, streaming shows are going to be a part of it too. But yeah, I think David Cornsweet is an entirely refreshing it gives an entirely refreshing characterization of all three versions of this character, all three sides of this character, Clark, Superman, and Kal-El, where like the sort of darker, more brooding version that Henry Cavill played um, is like this is an entire switch um, in terms of characterization for the same character, which I thought was a really, I'm going to say refreshing again, um, because everything about this movie felt like comics lifted directly from the page. And yeah, this story is pretty much All-Star Superman. Um, but I think what James Gunn is able to do in terms of his presentation of that story on the big screen is give us a world that feels like a comic book, but a world that feels lived in, right? With like you go back to Iron Man 2008, Jon Favreau, Kevin Feige, Robert Downey Jr. getting the MCU started. You don't know if it's going to work. Superhero movies have been done, but never at the scale that Feige is trying to launch it to in 2008. And of course, we know where it's come to since then. But what you get is an origin story. You get how Tony Stark became Iron Man, very much like the first Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man is Spider-Man's origin story. Or even in Man of Steel, we see Superman come to Earth. Batman Begins, we see a young Bruce Wayne have his parents shot in front of him, and then he becomes Batman. Like origin stories have been done before, and I will admit that there was some concern on my part that James Gunn's Superman was going to be an origin story, but those concerns were completely assuaged when Gunn said we don't need to see origin stories on the big screen every single time these stories are rebooted. And they're rebooted every 10, 15 years now. So we know about Superman's origin. We know how he comes to Earth. We know being raised by Ma and Pa Kent in Kansas. We know about becoming Superman in Metropolis and Lois Lane. We don't need that all spelled out for us. So what Gunn does really, really well here is he gives us the world that feels lived in, where we're joining the story in the middle, but we're not missing any key exposition. The idea of metahumans, superheroes, pocket dimensions, portals, like these are all things that just dimensional rips, like they exist within the metropolis and within the earth that and the universe that James Gunn is launching here. And it doesn't feel like the characters are too sort of passive to the idea. Like, oh, it's a portal. Yeah, we've seen that before. No, like they still understand the gravity and the stakes of each situation, but it's not like total surprise either. We're not seeing them experiencing these supernatural, superhuman events for the first time. We've got these established heroes in the Justice Gang. We've got that opening crawl where it's, or not crawl, but that opening text telling us how long metahumans have been around, how long Superman has been Supermaning. Like we get all the information we need, and then we're into the world. And I think both the story he chooses to tell and the world he chooses to tell it in are the exact right choices to one, make a Superman movie that I'll say it is the best Superman movie that's been put to screen. I love the 1978 film with Christopher Reeve. Love it to death. This one's better. And I think, as someone, and Max, you know this as well, and Ben, we'll let you talk in a minute. I know you've been patient so far. Um, but for longtime fans of the character, this is everything we could have asked for in a Superman movie. And to see it, one, to see it early, which I got to do, um, in a packed IMAX crowd, one of the best movie going experiences I've ever had. And I'm very excited for round two on Tuesday. Kick it
Yeah, I
over to
mean,
Ben.
I don't want to compare anything to the 1978 Superman.
No,
That's
78
a
is perfect. I'm
that's a terrible
sorry.
choice.
78
But
is
yeah, no,
perfect.
it
78
is
is
very
78 is
good.
perfect. I'm not
perfect.
going to argue that. I liked this one more.
Well, that's fine, but it's not better. James Gunn would tell you that you're full of shit too.
I would say thank you to James Gunn if he told me I was full of shit for that opinion. He'd probably he would
But
be right. I know that I'm in the
but yeah, I
minority
mean,
saying that.
you don't
Again,
have
it's
to
probably
compare
the
these
experience that
movies.
I had.
Well, yeah, um, yeah. I mean, they're good. They're both good. This movie I thought was very fun. You had the early members of the Justice League there. Um, they clearly are already, have interacted with Superman. So there have been comics. The animated DC universe stuff is also like they've rebooted a million times, and they always do this because it doesn't make sense to have everyone have an origin story again and again, especially for the like simplistic ones. Like Krypton gets blown up and then he comes to Earth. That's kind of, and then he's
You don't need to
Superman.
see that in every single Superman movie.
No.
No.
And I think that it's cool that he starts it in the middle of a fight. Um, and
Kind of like
sort of leads
halftime in
right
the
into the
fight.
story. Huh?
It's kind of like halftime in the fight because he goes all the way back to
Uh,
Antarctica,
yeah, I guess he kind of
charges,
lost.
heals, and then goes
It's
back.
game two.
Yeah.
Little Superman doubleheader.
Yeah, it's a day night. No, split admission.
And yeah, I mean I liked the additions of his goons. They're very Lex Luthor goons. They fit his archetype so well. My only question for James Gunn would be why he chose Ultraman, because he could have just chose Bizarro, which would have made a lot more
I
sense.
would be surprised if the Ultraman Superman clone that was sent into the black hole at the end of the movie, I would be shocked if he doesn't come back as Bizarro.
That's what I was thinking too. But I was also had that question of like, why not just do that?
Yeah,
It's kind
but
he felt more like
I
Bizarro.
mean Bizarro is like he is like a clone, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
Ultraman is not. Ultraman's like an alternate Superman that gets his powers from anti-kryptonite or something. Um,
But
but
also
yeah,
because of how they used him, like he was
yeah,
kind
he
of
kind
like
of fits.
an
It's literally
idiot.
just Bizarro. It's like a
Yeah.
dumb version of Superman. But it's nitpicking. I figure that
1A.
what's gonna happen is he's going to another dimension, and then they're gonna do Ultraman from there. That's what I would assume. He goes into a black hole,
Yeah.
but he's from like Earth 2 or 3 or something.
I think it's Earth 3.
And
I
they
mean,
have this thing called the
they've got
Crime Syndicate.
yeah, they've got all this stuff planned. So I mean, we've got so much road ahead of us.
But yeah, uh, I loved the addition of Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner. Both of those were perfectly done. Really, really well done. So it is a bit like a team up movie. It's a Superman movie, but it's got more to it than like say this 1978 Superman movie, which is just Lex versus Superman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you got Crypto.
Crypto dog.
Where's the dog?
Yeah, we all understood him.
He's not even a very good one. Just
But he's
sad and
mine.
But
alone,
he's alone
tired,
and he's probably
scared.
scared.
Yeah.
That's
Turns
that's who
out
Superman is. He doesn't care that it's not a great dog. By the way, Crypto is a great dog in this movie, but he doesn't care that he thinks Crypto is not a great dog.
it's
It's
because Supergirl's a bad owner. She doesn't train the dog.
there are no bad dogs, only bad owners. She
Yep.
shows up with the fucking slushy at the end of the movie.
Yeah, clearly drunk. That was funny.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean,
Throw that on the calendar for next summer for us.
yeah. And they already have the poster out. Like it's crazy. They're moving
I mean, they
at
are
a breakneck
capitalizing
pace.
on how popular this movie has been over the last 6 days.
I think this was James Gunn's plan, which is like he does the Superman movie because this is going to sort of
Yeah.
everything is going to spark off this. Um, and so he just had everything like set up. But he's not doing the Supergirl movie. I don't remember who's doing that.
I got it.
Mhm. But they is it Craig Gillespie?
That
No.
sounds right.
Dizzy Gillespie's son?
Yeah, sure.
Supergirl is Craig Gillespie.
Woo. He did I, Tonya.
He did do I,
Oh,
Tonya.
okay.
He also did Lars and the Real Girl, Fright Night, and Cruella.
Oh, very interesting.
That's
Oh,
yeah.
and he did a movie that we have talked about on the pod. He did Dumb Money.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that one, the
I
GameStop
like the
one.
stock.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
could be good.
could
I
be
you know I
cool.
trust James Gunn. Um,
Yeah,
He's
and
but
again,
yeah.
like part of what I think is different about this is that it is so much more centralized and it's focused on like I mean, the universe as a whole. It's so focused on sort of the storytelling and the characters rather than like an overarching chapter or whatever. It's like, you know,
Well, this is chapter one,
it is
Gods and
chapter one,
Monsters.
but like they're not going to be stylized in a way that it's going to be the exact same thing. Like we're going to get the tonal shift in the Batman movie if we get the Reeves one integrated into the DCU or a new one, whatever happens.
I think
Things are going to be different tonally. Supergirl is going to be kind of a whiplash, I'm sure, for people too, because she's going to be very different from Clark. And the films, the projects, the TV shows are not going to feel like they're cookie cutter. It's going to be unique. Clayface is a horror film. It's a gothic style, like body horror film. Straight up
yeah,
horror.
which I'm happy they're doing. Like that was the
Yeah.
entire problem, in my opinion, with the Snyder's vision, which is he's putting everyone into it's like a few comic book runs with what's his face? Evil Man, Dark Side. Um,
Evil Man.
literally,
Jason
his name was
Blackwell?
Dark Side. I mean,
It's my favorite supervillain, Evil Man.
but yeah, like you have to do these characters their own. And when Guy Gardner comes in, you and all the people in the Justice Gang, they all have their own personalities. They don't conform to the movie. Like there's that scene in the Joss Whedon Justice League where all of them are just sort of like making quips and stuff. But it's just sort of it's so out of character for everyone. It's like everyone's making jokes. Whereas in this one, you have like Guy Gardner who's just constantly annoyed at everyone.
That isn't of the
Nathan
cloth.
Fillion is perfectly cast as Guy, by the
He's
way.
great.
He's really great.
I mean, he's a nerd himself, so he knows the character.
Yeah.
He was very happy to do the bowl cut.
I think I read or heard somewhere that he insisted on it too, that
Yeah, yeah, no,
they were
he's
debating whether or not to do it, and he was like,
he
"No,
was
you
like,
gotta do
we have to do the bowl cut.
it." Yeah, I
But
mean, I
yeah, he's
love.
good friends with James Gunn, good friends with Joss Whedon too. Um, But yeah,
You picked right.
he's
Um,
always
It's,
down for that.
Kyle Chandler's playing Hal Jordan, right?
yeah, in the Lantern series, yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be
Hmm.
HBO Max, right?
Yep, and Aaron Pierre is Jon Stewart, and then
Oh, that's going to be so good.
Nathan Fillion's gonna come back and be in that as well.
As Guy Gardner.
Yeah,
Nice. Fun.
yep, and he'll be in season, and the Justice Gang is gonna be in season 2 of Peacemaker, coming out sort of mid to late August.
What a crowd moment when Peacemaker shows up in this movie.
Crazy. It was funny.
Like I still don't know what he said because the crowd was going fucking nuts.
Oh,
Yeah,
he
I
said,
like that they didn't focus on it. Like
No,
yeah,
it was
he
just a
said
we're all
something
well-built
super
about
moment.
bad
like,
guys. Yeah.
it was something about like, these guys that come and they dress ridiculous. Something about dressing
They were in
ridiculously while he's
tights and
there
they
and
looked
it's fucking like,
stupid.
yeah.
I would have guessed he would have said something about the secret harem.
He did
Uh,
mention something about it. I think he
was it
did.
him?
If not,
I don't know.
that was right in that. Yeah.
I, I get a rewatch in 5 days, so I'll report back next week.
And they teased my favorite anti-hero, Mr. Mixie-Pizzical.
Superman 2
Superman.
or
As long as they don't give us fucking
something.
Zod again. I have Zod fatigue.
I mean, Zod is gonna come back. Like
No,
Zod is a major.
that can be the third one in like 2030.
Okay.
I mean, I just, you raise a good point though, Ben, is that we do need, and George too, we need a little bit more diversity when it comes to some of Superman's bad guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Lex Luthor, obviously we're gonna get
Had to
Lex.
be
That's great.
first. Good
I mean,
Have to
choice.
yeah,
have him.
you don't need to make Zod the like villain outright.
No,
He
no.
just shows up a few times and is just an antagonist and then leaves. So
But he said dimensional M. Like that's a like there you
that's
go.
great.
That's great stuff. Speaking of that, well, that happened in a great scene between Clark and Lois, Superman and Lois, but what did you think of the dynamic between the two of them? Did they nail it or did they miss something in your eye?
Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, no. Perfect dynamic.
Um, I think their chemistry was as authentic, if not more so, than anyone since Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder. Um, Certainly more than Kate Bosworth and Brandon Routh, more than uh, Henry Cavill and Amy Adams.
Amy Adams, I couldn't just yeah, it's
Amy
They
not
gave
Adams,
us nothing there.
wonderfully talented actor. Zack Snyder had no idea what to do with her.
Nope.
But yeah, seeing Rachel Brosnahan in this role, first of all, a very strong, confident, and modern take on Lois Lane, where she takes a very active role in the story. A lot of times in film media, Man of Steel did this a little bit better than previous iterations.
yeah, I was about to say Man of Steel definitely had her as a
Yeah,
strong independent like choice, not the damsel in distress.
yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. And credit to Amy Adams and Zack Snyder for that. Um, but definitely feels like Lois. Again, I'm going to shout out the lived-in world that we get because they've been together for 3 months. She knows that Clark is Superman or Superman is Clark. Um, Obviously, her relationships with everybody at the Daily Planet, Clark's relationships with everybody at the Daily Planet. Um, it all feels lived in, um, but especially when it comes to Lois and her role in the story, because she takes this active role in not just like being a reporter and damsel in distress and getting the best story for the paper and XYZ, but she's like part of the effort to save the day. And I think that's a really,
She's
really
driving
fun,
the T-Mobile.
yeah, really, really fun way to use the character. And the
Yeah,
chemistry is off the fucking charts. That final kiss when they
I
start flying up, oh my God.
I can't give James Gunn too much credit for that. Lois Lane's been written like that for the past like 50 years. She's always been like a wicked smart, and I like the edge she has, especially when she interviews him the first time.
Hmm.
What a
But that's
great
about
scene.
that's how she's been written. Like,
Mhm.
no, not to take anything away from James Gunn, but I gotta give credit to the comic book writers too. Like a lot of this stuff comes from the actual comics. He didn't invent this stuff. He just knew how to put it to the screen. So give credit to where it's due. Those comic book writers don't get paid enough. They don't get any credit. I mean, Rob Liefeld didn't get invited to the Deadpool after party, even though he made the character. It's not to take away anything from
Did the
James
first
Gunn, but
Deadpool movie?
always
Who
gotta.
directed that?
Wasn't
Is
it
that
Sean
I
Levy?
know
yeah?
David Leitch did two and Sean Levy did three.
I thought it was Sean Levy.
I don't think it's Sean Levy. I think he
I know Levy
didn't he
did.
just do the third one?
He just did the third one after doing the Adam Project and Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Tim
Adam
Miller.
Project, underrated movie. Who did it?
Tim Miller,
Yeah.
Tim Miller.
That project's fine.
who has done
I enjoyed it.
Terminator Dark Fate,
What's a feel-good movie?
Sonic the Hedgehog, Love, Death,
But
and
yeah, I
Robots.
mean, like what you're talking about is this movie really understood the characters that they're
Mhm.
drawing from. They understood the inspiration, and James Gunn has displayed that he actually knows comics, which is something that helps a lot. Like you can be a good director, but to direct something with comic books in mind, with all the color, with the adventure too, and the way that the story plays out.
Hmm.
The fall of the hero, and then he rises back up, and good, conquers evil. I mean, that was what he was meant to be originally.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Though I
mean,
do like,
I think what we get here from James Gunn, I think a lot of people, not including myself, were worried that tonally this was going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, The Suicide Squad, like it was going to be very everybody cracking jokes all the time. And there is a great deal of humor in this movie, but it fits these characters. And what Max, you're absolutely right. The one thing that James Gunn does really well is or Ben, maybe you said it.
yeah,
Um,
Ben says it.
Ben, you said it. What James Gunn does really well here and in his other movies is he matches the tone of the film and the characters to something authentically comic book.
I also just understands like each of the character. Like Superman should be this very feel-good story, unless you're doing one of the like crazy runs of like Death of Superman or something, but that should be done later on. The only reason that those
Yeah, not
work,
in the
that's what
first
Zack
movie of the
First
Snyder tried to
movie? Oh
do.
franchise.
my God.
Like you can't because the whole point is to see this hopeful person broken down. Like that's what makes it impactful. To just start off with that is like, okay.
Like when he kills Pa Kent in Superman 2 or something.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's like a real death of Fog Count
Yeah.
versus
Stop it.
threat
Stop it.
detection.
Help.
Uh,
How about that scene between Clark and Pa Kent, though?
that's great. I mean, it's a good
That's the
oh,
emotional, that's the core of the movie right there.
also, you want Superman to have his parents for a little bit longer, especially Pa Kent, because
Yeah.
he has to keep nurturing him for a little bit. He's Superman, but
Only
it's
for
You don't
not
want to
until
three
kill him
later.
off in a tornado?
What a stupid thing to do.
years.
Your son that can move faster than light. But wait, if he gets saved, people will know. I did like that they somewhat used the excuse of the what do they call it? Something glasses that hide his face.
Hypno
Hypno
glasses.
Yeah,
glasses.
hypno glasses.
Yeah.
That, yeah,
Unexpected, but kind of lovely. I mean, like,
it's a fun thing to do.
yeah.
So that he doesn't have the. Why are people not figuring out that this guy and this guy are the same? He just put sunglasses.
Well, he changes his hair a little bit too. It's a lot curlier as Clark.
True.
Yeah, he turns into a millennial.
True. He didn't do as much like voice modulation that Chris Reeve did, or like sort of body stuff that Chris Reeve did,
I
but
disagree.
I don't he did, he did a lot, but it wasn't as noticeable because I think he blended the two on, I think that was partly where he's at in his journey as Superman Clark Kent, kind of just finding what the balance is. Because, some of Superman certainly comes out when he's supposed to be Clark. The scene in the Daily Planet where Jimmy's kind of ribbing him and saying that he got his face wiped by the hammer of Baravia. And he's like, well, I don't know about that, Jimmy. I don't know if that's true. He certainly has some of that comes out and slips.
I
It's
love
interesting.
Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy Olsen.
It's very good.
He's so fun.
Yeah, I thought the side and supporting cast is great. I would definitely watch a Daily Planet spinoff or like a Jimmy Olsen TV show that James Gunn's has talked about wanting to do. I think it'd be fun and interesting. Like there's so much there
It's
to
just
draw from.
Jimmy Olsen turning down the most beautiful women on the planet because he's got a job to do.
To be fair, two of them were interns, so I think that'd be kind of a
You can do a Jimmy
dicey
Olsen
situation for him.
show. Jimmy Olsen turns into a superhero later on. The Mighty Steel.
They're
I
definitely
think
going to
that's
do that.
his name.
With how involved Jimmy was in this movie, they're definitely going to do that with him later on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm curious to see it. He's got like a suit of armor, like an actual suit, and then he just beats people up. But that's Death of a Superman. That's later on.
Well, when Corn Sweat decides he wants to be a Jedi instead of Superman,
No, no, you don't actually kill Superman. He's just gone for a little bit, and then you have all these Supermen that show up, like Superboy. That's half Lex Luthor and half Clark Kent.
Mm,
can we talk a little bit more about Lex Luthor?
yeah,
Sure.
Because I just want to gush about Nicholas Holt.
sure.
Yeah, he's great. He's
He's,
very comically evil. It's
Hmm.
really wonderful to watch.
I think having watched Hackman's performances and then sitting through Kevin Spacey's performance and then being tortured by Jesse Eisenberg's performance, we've been, I use this word very loosely. We've been treated to many different interpretations of the character. And I think what I love about Gene Hackman in the role is how very cartoonishly evil he seems, going after the real estate empire and beating Superman for financial gain primarily. Um,
Yeah, and I mean that's what those early movies did really well is they were cartoonish. I mean, it really understood the comic book flavor to it.
I mean, if you want that, look no further than Batman 66 with Adam West. That is
Okay,
that is
that's
live
that's
action
too
cartoon
far.
right there.
That's too far though. That's
But anyway,
deliberately making fun of it.
but anyway, where do I put this bomb? Um,
I mean, yes, it is a satirical show. I can't say that comic books were ever that goofy.
anyway, um, Nicholas Holt is psychotic in this role. Um,
Passionate.
do you work for Luther Corp? Is that why you're defending him? Ultra
It's gonna
Ben,
put me in a it's
go to your
gonna
pocket
put me in
dimension.
a pocket dimension.
I think we get to see an entirely new take on the character for the big screen, which I think Holt does a really, really good job of giving his own take on the character. I think the dynamic he shares with David Cornsweet as Superman is terrific. Mr. Terrific joke. Um, but yeah, I think just this portrayal of the character felt like already an elite comic book movie villain performance. And the fact that he lost the role of Superman to David Corenswet and is an inch shorter than David Corenswet adds so much behind the scenes to this dynamic that I feel like they were able to draw on for their performances and their interactions. It's a lot of fun to see the two of them on screen together.
Yeah, I mean, it's great because you really get the sense and not all that much screen time. He's a big part of the story, but we don't see a lot of Lex outside of him in Luther Corp like hovercraft thing,
Yeah,
bridge,
right.
whatever.
We get
And
one
he's like
scene
kind of
in
just in
Pocket
the
Dimension
control
is
center,
one
but
at the
you
Fortress of
very
Solitude.
clearly and easily get the sense of his motivations of I hate Superman, but I also like kind of want to be who he is. You know, like I want to be just as loved as he is, but I'm not. And I've done all this great stuff for the world, like starting wars, um, and developing weapons and stuff. So like I'm such a great guy. Why doesn't everybody else love me? And he had his little like evil Wrath of Khan moment with the stuff on the glass when he had Superman in prison and everything of like, yeah, I wanna be you so badly, but I also hate you so fucking much.
And he still has the real estate motivation for half of Jarhanpur.
That is
Yeah,
true. That is
that's
true.
more of a it's consolation.
Yeah, he just want like literally he just wants to he just wants to kill Superman. That's it. And that reporter he's always hanging out with, Clark Kent.
He's a huge hater. Huge hater.
That got one of the biggest laughs of the movie when he threatened to go kill that reporter Clark Kent.
Oh yeah.
It's great stuff.
I think it is yeah, I mean it is really funny. Like it kind of stays with the comic books because his whole thing is just he hates that there's a Superman. Like everyone else is man. He hates that there is a being that he cannot get to because he wants to be the best. He's so narcissistic and egotistical that he has to kill Superman so that he can be the best in his eyes, which is
Hmm.
why he wants to be him, but he can't.
Yep.
And I
Just
think
wait
they
till he
really,
finds out there's two of them.
oh my God.
So we recreate him in the aggregate. My
No,
brains and Ultraman's brawn.
Well,
oh,
he
I
does.
meant Supergirl because the two of them together
Oh,
can't make Lex happy.
He kind of does though, because he just combines his brain with Superman.
Hmm.
And then surprise, Superman's hope and goodness in him is so good that it just overpowers Lex's psychopathy.
I mean
And then
that
he
last monologue about
elevates above the
what it means
city.
to be human. That's another core tenet of the movie. He's just driving that point home that Superman is just one of us. He's trying to do good every single day, and that's why he's he wouldn't Superman wouldn't say it, but that's why he's the best of us. That's why he is our champion.
This is true.
My champion's personally Guy Gardner and his middle fingers.
That
That was
scene where he and Lois are trying to figure out if the other one knows Superman's secret identity is so perfectly done because he
no.
remains such an asshole through the entire movie.
Yeah, it really captures who Guy Gardner is. An absolute asshole, but with a heart.
Well, I mean um that last scene with Metamorpho, um, where he
Oh
shouts
yeah,
out what a great name the Justice Gang is.
you're in. That's good.
You're in.
Nice little button there.
Well,
I like when he shows
speaking
up and he's like, "Hey, Superman couldn't make it, so you guys got an upgrade."
speaking of in, we are fully into the new DCU being helmed by James Gunn. We've got lots of new projects coming out. I think the next one is Peacemaker, but the next movie is
The
Supergirl.
Batman Part 2 coming
Well,
out October 2025.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But
Supergirl next
we have
summer.
lots to be excited about.
I think
Um,
uh I think that's the
and then
next movie, yeah.
Clayface.
Clayface is gonna be like Halloween next year, I think.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right. And then I'm sure there's going to be TV shows in there as well. Creature Commandos season 2 is going to come out at some point.
Very
Um,
excited to see if James Gunn moves forward with The Brave and the Bold, or if he just says the Batman Part 2 is in the DCU.
yeah, you know what's funny? He hasn't mentioned Annie Machete in any interviews. It's all Matt Reeves. So
I mean,
Well, I
Andy
don't think he
Muschietti
likes him.
did The Flash most recently, and his Batman is technically George Clooney now. So
imagine the Batman we get in the DCU is just George Clooney Batman
stop
again.
it.
We get Batnips back.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in. I think we're all
We
in.
are in. I think we all toss this one a firm recommendation that was never going to be in doubt. Go see this movie in IMAX if you can. If not, go see it on the biggest screen possible. Go see it again. I know I have already. George is going to see it. Ben might go see it. I'm not sure if he doesn't cut off any more of his fingers.
I didn't get
And
cut off. It's still there.
Show the viewers. Ben
It's
stabbed his finger cutting
it's
cheese.
it's not so bad. On here, you can sort of see it.
I
I can
can
see
see it.
you.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah. It was more deep.
Mm,
Painful.
That's the problem. Yeah.
mm. Okay.
And Maggie was your crypto.
Well, we are back next week with another round of trivia. We're really excited about that. I don't remember. Am I the reigning champion? Did I win last time? I think I
I think you
did.
did.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Reigning champion
Was that
here.
when you got the exact right, like you guessed a number exactly
Yes, I
right?
did. Tossed out a random number. Got it
Yes.
completely right.
I'm getting back on the winning streak this week or next week.
But we're gonna try and run it back, folks. So root for your boy.
Shut up.
Um,
Go see
toss a like.
Superman.
Yep, go see Superman. Enjoy. Have a good week. Good night.
Good night.
What the hey, dude? Good night.